بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Before I just mention a few words, just as a reminder, one of the ways that we Muslims, particularly we Muslims, can benefit this society is that when it rains, the sunnah of Al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wasallam is that he would make a dua, and one of the frequent du'as that he would make when it rains, according to the Sahih Sunnah, is he would say, Allahumma sayyibun nafi'a, or Allah, make this rainfall, make this downpour beneficial. As opposed to the rain that sometimes, especially in history, that Allah has sent to one or two communities to destroy them and to annihilate them. Or the rain that comes and actually it's so fierce it wipes away crops and agriculture. There is that type of rain that represents Allah's Jalaliyyah, Allah's awe and greatness and magnificence. But there is that kind of rain that we also should ask for, or that we should ask for. Allahumma sayyibun nafi'a. Oh Allah, grant us a beneficial downpour, which is a manifestation of Allah's khayr and rahmah, His goodness and His compassion. And whilst we're asking for beneficial rain to fall on this land or parts of this land, we can also maybe have an intention in the heart that just as Allah, you are sending down rain to revive the earth, to freshen the atmosphere, Ya Allah, send down your drops of your guidance to open up hearts and revive hearts from kufr to iman, from disbelief to faith, from disobedience to obedience. So we shouldn't really lose these small opportunities. One, because it's connecting us with the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and two, it's trying to nurture in ourselves a rahmah for people, for mankind, a concern for their well-being and their goodness, at least in the life of this world. What I'd like to speak to you about today, very briefly, is Surah Al-Duha, the 93rd Surah of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. In the 93rd chapter of the Quran, and it's a surah that was revealed in Makkah, and some of the ulama, some of the mufassirun, the commentators of the Quran, some of them say it's the 4th surah to be revealed to the Prophet ﷺ, or the 7th surah, or within the first 10 surahs to be revealed. And they also say that barring Al-Fatiha, barring Surah Al-Fatiha, this was the first complete surah to be revealed all in one go, from start to finish. And the background of this surah, the sababun nuzul, they say, the reason why Allah revealed this is that Jibreel alayhi salam came with revelation, starting with Iqra. And then there came a point in which Jibreel didn't show up for some time. And the scholars differ. How long? A few days, a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, they differ. There's no kind of sound or conclusive report. But they all agree that Jibreel didn't show up with revelation for some time. And some of the people who were in the know about the Prophet's da'wah and call, some of the mushriks, they started to taunt him. Since they were already being mean-natured to him, they started taunting him. And some of them came up to him and said, see, your Lord has forsaken you. Your Lord has forsaken you. And He's displeased with you. And then Allah Jalla wa Ala revealed this surah, this chapter, to console and comfort the heart of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَالضُّحَى, by the duha, the morning or the mid-morning. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى, and by the night when it darkens and becomes still. مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى, your Lord has neither forsaken you and nor is He displeased. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى, and the hereafter will be better for you than the life of this world. وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْتِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى, and your Lord will surely give you and you will be satisfied. أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى, didn't He find you an orphan and give you shelter? وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًا فَهَدَى, and He found you wandering and He guided you. وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى, and He found you needy and He enriched you. فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ, so as for the orphan, do not wrong him. وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ, and as for the one who asks, the beggar, as for the one who asks, do not repel him. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ, and as for the bounties of your Lord, proclaim it, proclaim them. وَالضُّحَى, Allah swears by the early morning or the mid-morning. That time after, there's some khilaf about this, difference about this, but that time after the sun has risen, before the sun reaches the highest point in the sky, just before Dhuhr, between the time of Fajr and Dhuhr, where we have Salatul Duha, the mid-morning prayer. Okay, the Prophet ﷺ would quite often pray 2 rak'ah at this time, between 2 rak'ah and 8 rak'ah. And this became his usual habit, and thus it became a sunnah for us. And there's a tremendous reward in praying 2 rak'ah of Salatul Duha at that kind of time when the sun has well risen and it's light in the sky, well before the Zawal time. Allah swears by the mid-morning and by the night when it darkens and it's still. The morning is a busy time, maybe a time for work, activity, and the night becomes a time for slowing things down and stillness. And then Allah consoles the Prophet ﷺ, the reason for revelation. مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى, Allah has neither forsaken you. There's a wisdom why I haven't sent the angel Jibreel with more revelation. But I haven't forsaken you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to the Prophet ﷺ. وَمَا قَلَى, I'm not displeased or angry with you. Rebutting the mean speech of some of the mushrikun. And at the same time, comforting the heart of the Prophet ﷺ, who was getting a bit anxious. Not so anxious that one loses their haiba, their demeanor, and their gravitas. Not so anxious that one is losing faith in Allah. But just the comfort of revelation. The comfort of munajat, of communicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The barakah, the nur of wahi, of the Quran, of revelation. It's now missing for some time. And the spiritual heart of the Prophet ﷺ feels it. He feels the absence, which is quite contrary to many of us. A whole year can pass and our eyes don't set sight upon the Mus'haf, on the Quran. Some of us just wait for Ramadan, right? And even then, some Muslims, they still don't set their eyes on the Mus'haf. They'll just listen to a few verses in Tarawih. A whole year can go and the eyes don't see the Quran and the heart doesn't really feel the absence of the word of Allah. And then we wonder why we don't have much of a connection with Allah as individuals or as an ummah, when in the hadith of Umar radiallahu anhu says that the Prophet ﷺ said one day, holding up the book of Allah, he said, by this book Allah raises a people, and by it He debases and humiliates a people. Question: how is Allah expected to behave towards a people whom He gave the Quran to, whom He explained the importance of the Quran, who were ordered to have Iman in the Quran as a last and final revelation, and who don't set eyes on it for a year, or 6 months, or 3 months, or a month, or a week? A day is really what should be our daily attachment to the Quran, even if it's 1 ayah. Because we're people, when I say people of the Quran, Ahlul Quran, don't think of some deviant sect in some part of the Muslim world who don't believe in the Sunnah. But by Ahlul Quran, we're people of the Quran, meaning we're people. Of course, we're the people of the Sunnah as well, inshallah. But people of the Quran in the sense that that is our source, our wellspring. But he's anxious because Jibreel hasn't come and the people are taunting him. Your Lord has neither forsaken you and nor is He displeased. An immediate comfort and consoling of the heart of the Prophet ﷺ. Because there is much in the Quran which is really Allah, between Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, Allah and His Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Much of the Quran talks to you and I. Much of the Quran talks to whole of humanity, Muslims and non-Muslims. But some of the Quran is intimate conversation that Allah is having with His Habib, with His beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Very often consoling him, strengthening his heart, telling him things will be okay. And this is one of those surahs of intimacy, of uns billah, intimacy with Allah that the Prophet ﷺ is experiencing. Your Lord has neither forsaken you nor is He displeased. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, but the hereafter will be better for you than the present life of this world. And maybe there's an indication in there, maybe there's an ishara in there that the present life will also be good in ways that you may not imagine, but the hereafter, the akhirah will be better. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. That the hereafter will be better for you than the present life. Not that the hereafter is better than the present life, there's no good, but it will be better. So set your sight upon that. Because the akhirah is eternal life. Akhirah, hereafter, is to be in the hadratul ilahiyah, is to be in the presence of Allah in His Jannah. Hereafter is la khawfun alayhim wa la hum tahzanun. There is no fear, no grief. Akhirah is to be in the companionship of the most beloved of Allah, His prophets, His messengers, His awliya, His ahlullah, His righteous servants. Akhirah is to have the heart's desire and content in a way that it cannot be had in this world. Akhirah is ru'yatullah, is to see the face of God. Allahumma inni as'aluka ladhatul nadhar ila wajhik wa shawqa ila liqa'iq. Prophet ﷺ said in a dua, or part of a dua, "Oh Allah, grant me the delight of gazing at your face and the yearning, the longing to meet you." SubhanAllah. And this is one of the reasons why the Prophet ﷺ understood, had that yaqeen, that certainty, which he tried to pass down to his community, that have some level of worldly detachment, zuhd. Izhad fi dunya, yuhibbukullah. Detach yourself from the world with this level of, with this thing called zuhd. Yuhibbukullah, Allah will love you. As occurs in the Sahih Hadith in the Sunan of Tirmidhi. But what does it mean, worldly detachment? To go and live somewhere in the cave away from society? No. Every prophet, the Quran said, came from the towns and the cities. They came from where civilization is. They may have gone to the desert or the wilderness for some moments of their life, but their message, the call to Tawheed, the call to Allah, the call to Iman, was decisively an urban call, a town call, a city call, a call to where people live, not somewhere out there where nobody is. So, izhad fi dunya, this worldly detachment, doesn't mean go off to some cave. Although towards the end of days, when the fitna increases and when there are very few people obeying Allah, that is the prophetic, that is the Prophet's advice. Go and take your sheep, go to a valley and worship Allah, because everything else is a mess and will destroy your iman. But we're not here yet at that time. Maybe close, but not here yet. But zuhd here means to detach ourselves from that part of the world, starting with that which Allah doesn't like, the haram. Every Muslim has to make this level of zuhd, detach ourselves from the haram, what Allah has made prohibited. Better than that, and higher than that, but it's not. This is not an obligation. Making zuhd from the haram is an obligation. But detaching ourselves from too much materialism. This is a sunnah, this is encouraged. Too much materialism slows us down. Too much materialism makes us forget the other life. Too much materialism makes us stingy and clingy to the world. Too much materialism begins to seep, run through our blood, and then we're ready to lie, to cheat, to slander, to hurt, to kill, to destroy because of materialism. Surely all of us here in this congregation must have heard in our lifetime at least one example of a Muslim family that were once united. Then the father must have passed away, and he left some inheritance, some wiratha, some money. And then the family splits over how and who should get how much money. Each one conniving, stealing, plotting and planning against their siblings, against them, children against mother, mother against children, brother against sister, sister against brother, brothers against brothers, sisters against sisters. Even though Allah Jalla wa Ala has mentioned the shares of inheritance in the book of Allah itself. Fire upon the family who chooses Allah's curse in such a sensitive moment of losing your beloved one. What type of ugly heart is that? What type of ugly heart is that? That the death of a member of the family, and all I can think of is greed. A'udhu billah. Even though I might look nice outside, but my heart is hideous, vulgar, ugly. It stinks. And many of us are happy with a stinking heart. But the believer, she or he, is not happy with such a heart. As their outward, as they seek to beautify their outward, they like to beautify their inward, their batin as well, their qalb. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ أَجْسَامِكُمْ وَلَا إِلَىٰ صُوَرِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith of Sahih Muslim, Allah doesn't look at your forms and your appearances. Go, spend your money on Qurans and beautification. And as long as you do it in a halal way, in a lawful way, it's not a problem. But don't think that Allah is I'm wearing. Don't think that Allah is looking at whether I get my trainers from Tesco or some expensive sports outfit. Don't think that Allah is looking at the brand name that we're having other than mu'min, Muslim, muhsin. Those are the brand names we should concern ourselves with. وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ, but rather He looks at your hearts and your actions. Not just the heart, but the actions. Not just the actions, but the heart. And so the Prophet ﷺ, he kept a very strong distance between him and dunya. Even when he held the world in his hand, it didn't enter his heart. And this barakah of living he passed on to the Sahaba. Even though the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, held wealth in their hands, it didn't enter their hearts. And they learned this from the Prophet ﷺ. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, in the Sunan of Tirmidhi, this hadith comes. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, one day he came in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ, and he was lying down. And he was lying down on a very rough mattress, made of reed, made of straw. And he ﷺ got up, and there were marks on his side, and he was just, with his blessed hand, he was rubbing his side, because it kind of hurts. Kind of just trying to get the blood flowing. And Ibn Mas'ud and those around him, they were a bit upset that, why does the Messenger of God, Khairu Khalqillah, the best of Allah's creation, why does he have to suffer these indignities and these hardships? And so they said, Ya Rasulullah, shall we not just get you something, a soft sheet to put on? And this is what the Prophet ﷺ said, Hadith Sahih, or Hadith Hasan Sahih. The Prophet ﷺ said, Mali wali dunya. What do I have to do with this world? I, Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what do I have to do with this world? إِنَّمَا مَثَلِي وَمَثَلُ الدُّنْيَا كَرَاكِبٍ ذَلَّ تَحْتَ شَجَرَةٍ ثُمَّ رَاهَا وَتَرَكَهَا. My example and the example of this world is like a rider who takes a momentary rest under the shade of a tree. He rests, then he gets up, and then he leaves. This world is that tree. We take shade in this world for a short time, and then do what we have to do, and then move on to akhirah. That doesn't mean that we don't do well in this world. إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَتَبَ الْإِحْسَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ, the Prophet said. Allah loves excellence in all that you do. So if I'm going to study, let me study excellently. If I'm going to work, let me work excellently. When I get married as a husband and a wife, let me be a spouse excellently. Whatever I do in life, if it's just baking a loaf of bread, let me do it excellently. With that type of pride, not kibr pride, but the pride that comes out of wanting to do things well for the sake of doing them well. Isn't one of the du'as of the sunnah after the fard prayer, Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik? SubhanAllah, what a beautiful dua. Oh Allah, Allahumma a'inni, oh Allah, help me to worship you beautifully, to remember you, to thank you, and to worship you beautifully, wa husni ibadatik. Oh Allah, help me to remember you. Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika, and to thank you, wa husni ibadatik, to worship you beautifully. Because there must be some beauty in the believer's action. Not just outward beauty of clothes, but beauty of character, beauty of beliefs, beauty of actions, beauty of aspiration. What are my aspirations? SubhanAllah. And then, very briefly, moving on, Allah says, and the hereafter will be better for you, will be better for you than the present life of this world. And we will give to you, and you will be satisfied and pleased. وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ. And we will give to you, and you will be pleased. An indication that in the hereafter, the Prophet ﷺ will not be disappointed for himself or for his ummah. For himself, Allah will give him al-maqam al-mahmud, the highest maqam, the praiseworthy station. Allah will give him Shafa'at al-Kubra, the great intercession, after the great intercession of Allah. Allah will give him Al-Kawthar, the great pool. Allah will make his ummah the one that populates paradise the most. The Prophet ﷺ said in another hadith in Sunan Tirmidhi, Ahlul Jannah, the people of Jannah, consist of 120 sufuf, ranks. 80 will be from my ummah. 40 will be from the other nations put together. 2/3 of Ahlul Jannah will be from the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That is Allah's gift to his Habib sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And you will not be dissatisfied. You will be pleased. So much so that none of his ummah who have sincerely said La ilaha illallah, even if their iman is small and their actions are small, eventually they will be taken out of hell because of Allah's fadl and this La ilaha illallah, and be put into paradise. Whether after a year, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years of torture in the fire because of their sins and Allah's justice. So it's always good to make tawbah regularly and seek Allah's forgiveness in this life, and not to die upon sins unrepented for, unaccounted for. You will be pleased. I will give you and you will be pleased. Did we not find you an orphan and shelter you? Words of comfort. Did your father, Abdullah, not die and you were still in the womb of your mother, the Lady Amina? And were you not born fatherless, therefore, as an orphan? And by the time you reached the age of 6, did your mother, Amina, not pass away and you were orphaned a second time? And were you not then given into the custody of your loving but very old grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, who cared for you and looked after you? But 2 years later, when he starts on his 8, the grandfather passes away, and it's as if he was orphaned again. And were you not put into the custody of your loving uncle, Abu Talib, who took you in and treated you as one of your own, loved you, looked after you, defended you? And you received revelation when you were 40 on Mount Hira. And Abu Talib, your uncle, was still not ready to come over to your religion of Islam, of Tawheed. And he kept to his ways of the people of Makkah and the people of Shiekh. And yet, he still looked after you and protected you as best as he could. And then, a little while before the hijrah, the migration, Allah took Abu Talib, this loving uncle, even though he hadn't accepted Islam. And then the enemies sought another chance to attack this orphan, second, third, fourth time over. And then the Ansar of Medina, the Aws and the Khazraj, they said, Ya Rasulullah, come to us. Come to Yathrib, come to Medina. We will look after you. We will defend you. We will honor your deen. We will fight for the sake of Allah. We will elevate your maqam in the hearts of people. And he made the hijrah. Did we not find you an orphan and shelter you? Did we not find you wandering in the confusion of shirk? He also knows that this is the wrong way. He also knows that the right way is the way of Ibrahim alayhi salam. But the way of Abraham, 2,000-3,000 years old, people don't remember exactly what it is. A few of the people like him, Hanifs, they're going here and there trying to find the right way. Searchers of the truth. He finds a pull, an attraction to go to the cave of Hira, to make meditation, to think about the real things that matter. Until the absolute truth dawns upon him with Iqra, with the first revelation. Did we not find you wandering and guided you? Did we not find you poor and impoverished and we enriched you enriched you with wahy, with revelation, with a connection, a rabita with Allah. Enriched you with the lady Khadija radiallahu anha, the first Muslim, supporting him with her love, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, supporting him with her care, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, supporting him with her money, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Khadija al-Kubra. No man or woman has set foot on this earth the likes of her after that early time. And so, since we have cared for you, don't oppress the orphan. Don't mistreat them, take their money. And the one who comes to ask as a beggar, or just asking even a question, don't repel them. Give them with kindness, with rahmah, with compassion. And if you can't give, apologize to them and point them into a direction where they can get something. But don't repel them arrogantly, scoffingly. And as for the bounties of your Lord, hadith, proclaim the bounties. Alhamdulillah, Allah made me Muslim. Alhamdulillah, Allah guided me to the path of the Sunnah. Alhamdulillah, Allah gave me this, Allah gave me that. Not as a boast. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. When we finish here, we can say, oh look, Alhamdulillah, Allah's given me this £30,000 car. And the niyyah is to boast in front of you. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Actions by intention. If I intended to boast and brag, then that's sin and punishment. But if the heart is really in a state of shukr, Alhamdulillah, Allah gave me this car, and unlike my friend who have to keep giving his car to the service every third or fourth week, Alhamdulillah, last 2 years I haven't taken it in one, Alhamdulillah. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Man lam yashkur al-nas lam yashkur Allah. Whoever doesn't thank the people doesn't thank Allah. Not only thanking Allah for His blessings, but thanking people when we receive blessings. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He give us the awsaf, the qualities, the good qualities mentioned in this surah. We ask Allah that He give us a soul that responds to Wadduha. As Wadduha is the mid-morning brightness, we ask Allah to brighten our hearts, illuminate our souls, forgive us our sins, make us fall in love with the Sunnah of Al-Mustafa, make us yearn for the face of Allah. And Allah is the one who hears and He responds. Wa akhir da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil
alamin. Alhamdulillah alladhi imtanna ala ibadihi bi nabiyyihi al-mursal sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa kitabihi al-munazzal hatta ittasa'a ala ahli al-afkar طريق الاعتبار بما فيه من القصص والأخبار واتضح به سلوك المنهج القويم والصراط المستقيم بما فصل فيه من الأحكام وفرق بين الحلال والحرام ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا ونبينا وحبيبنا محمدًا عبده ورسوله الذي نزل الفرقان عليه ليكون للعالمين نذيرا صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه الذين تذكروا بالقرآن وذكروا به الناس تذكيرا. أما بعد، فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام يقال لصاحبه القرآن اقرأ وارتقي ورتل كما كنت ترتل في الدنيا فإن منزلك عند آخر آية تقرأها. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام إن الذي ليس في جوفه شيء من القرآن كالبيت الخرب. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام من قرأ القرآن فاستظهره فأحل حلاله وحر حرامه أدخله الله الجنة وشفعه في 10 من أهل بيته كلهم قد وجبت له النار. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. فلا أقسم بمواقع النجوم وإنه لقسم لو تعلمون عظيم إنه لقرآن كريم في كتاب مكنون لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. الحمد لله يستعينه وأستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا، من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة. من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد، ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك، وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آله وأزواجه وذرياته. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: أرحم أمتي بأمة أبو بكر، وأشدهم في أمر الله عمر، وأصدقهم حياء عثمان، وأقضاهم علي، وفاطمة سيدة نساء أهل الجنة، والحسن والحسين سيدا شباب أهل الجنة، وهمزة أسد الله وأسد رسوله. اللهم اغفر للعباس ولده مغفرة ظاهرة وباطنة لا تغادر ذنبه. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي، يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون.